Yeah, good evening to one and all. Indian Society of Radiographers and Technologists is wishes you all World Radiography Day to all over the world. And all of you know, today, 8th November 2021, we are here to inaugurate of online competitions, quiz and oral presentation, which is organized by ISRT India. I welcome you all for the event. First of all, I'll welcome Dr. Napapong Manganapang from he's from Asia Australia Vice President of ISRT. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Similarly, I welcome A. Selvakumar, the President of ISRT. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
And Mr. Suresh Malyath, General Secretary, ISRT India. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
I also welcome today's special guest, Professor Paneer Selvam, Sri Ramchandra University, Chennai, India. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
I also welcome today's panel of judges from the foremost Dr. S.C. Bansal, the retired assistant professor from Chandigarh. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Mohan Bhagwat is assistant professor, Jamia Ahmad University from New Delhi. I welcome you, sir. And Anto Ramesh Delvi, a director of business development and operations, 2050 Healthcare from Bangalore, India. I welcome you, sir.
Namaste. Thank you.
With this, all of you very well know about it. We are going to have a quiz competition as well as oral presentation in a six different topics, which includes radiography modality and radiation protection, interventional radiology, computed tomography, magnetic resonance imaging, radiotherapy, and nuclear medicine. We have received the good number of registration for this event. With this, I welcome you all, even for the participant, whoever watching through the YouTube channel of the ISRT India, as well as in the Facebook. With this, I welcome you all, and I request our General Secretary, Suresh Malyath, to give a introductory speech.
Thank you, Mr. Shashi. Dear dignitaries, friends, colleagues, and listeners, good evening and welcome. First of all, I wish everyone a wonderful World Radiography Day or International Day of Radiology ahead. As all of you aware, this is the 126th anniversary of the historical discovery of X-rays by the legendary scientist William Conrad Röntgen. For the past 15 years, ISRT has been conducting World Radiography Day across Indian Peninsula with a variety of programs. But the last year, the 125th anniversary or cosmic anniversary of last year X-rays, we couldn't conduct any physical mode of program, and we have switched over to the virtual programs or virtual platforms, and there was an overwhelming response for that program. This year, fortunately, we had 3 physical mode of programs. One was in the northern end state, Kashmir, in Srinagar, and another one was in Tripura, Agartala, the capital city of Tripura, the northeastern state, and third one was in Cochin, the headquarters state, Kerala. And we had also celebrated the physical mode of program in the headquarters office itself. Regarding this year, the year 2021 is an important year for Indian radiographers and as well as the entire allied healthcare professionals in India. We have attained two major achievements in this year. One is the enactment of NCHP Act in Indian Parliament, which made us a fantastic piece of legislation. And second one is the international affiliation. The two things were the long pending and long cherished dream for Isrt, and we had played a crucial role in it. And for Isrt affiliation for Indian Society of Radiographers and Technologists, though it was pending from 2018, it made a reality. It come to a reality in this year itself. But our long association with International Society has begun in 2011 itself. Mr. Nakopan, our honorable chief guest or guest of honor of this program, we were fortunate enough to receive him in our office in 2011 itself. And since then, he is our mentor, patron, and everything for us. So I am indebted and grateful to this great man, Nakopan. I wish to spell few words about him. He is a medical physicist as well as a medical radiological technologist in his parent country, Thailand. He is a visiting professor in five countries in the Southeast Asia, and he is the Australasia Vice President of International Society of Radiographers and Radiological Technologies. And we are very fortunate enough to have him today virtually. And I am indebted and grateful to the CEO, Mr. Dimitris, and to our President, Donna Newman, ma'am. Also, I thankfully remember the name, Madam Percy Peter. He's an Indian origin radiographer from South Africa, and I'm indebted and grateful to everyone for affiliating Indian Society of Radiographers and Radiological Technologists to Isrt or International Society. Thank you all. I am giving my mic to our Mr. Shashi Shetty. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful introductory speech. Now, I request our today's chief guest, Dr. Napopong, to give a inauguration of our program and addressing the gathering.
Thank you, and Namaste, India. This is a great honor of myself to be here on this program. Well, it's unfortunate that we cannot travel at the moment, but I hope we can travel soon. And I promise to go back to India. 10 years ago, as Suresh said, that I went to Kanyakumari and met with people from your society. And the relationship between myself as the representative from Isrt, the International Society of Radiographers and Radiological Technologists with Isrt has started 10 years ago, and it became reality when we had a council meeting during the last World Congress in Dublin in Ireland to officially accept Isrt as our member. And I would like to congratulate to President Salva Kumar, the Isrt president, and also the executive committee of the society on the occasion that you become the full member of the international organization. We actually, at the moment, represent more than 80 countries and regions around the world, with more than 500,000 radiographers and technologists worldwide as our member. And we very, very pleased to have a new member from India joining the big family of Isrt. And again, today is World Radiography Day. I would like to wish happy World Radiography Day to everyone. This is to honor our pioneer, Professor Röntgen, who discovered X-rays today in 1895. And that's quite a long time, and we have achieved a lot of things. And of course, for the education and training and also advanced practice for the profession, that's the future, I believe, because when you can train the next generation, they will become competent professionals, radiographers and radiation therapists, and then at the end they will benefit to our patient and our world population in terms of using radiation in diagnostic and treatment of cancer. And today I'm so honored to be here to give the inaugurational speech of the online competition quiz and oral presentations. I wish for the success of the program and again, happy World Radiography Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable word. With this, I request to give the session regarding on role of radiographers in a pandemic.
Greeting from Bangkok, Thailand. It is my honor to be here today on behalf of the board management of the International Society of Radiographers and Radiological Technologists, ISRT, to congratulate the Indian Society of Radiographers and Technologists on this special event to celebrate World Radiography Day 2021. This is the inauguration of the online competitions, quiz, and oral presentations to your members in India. And of course, for this year theme of the role of the radiographer in the pandemic, I would like to present a good work from ISRT and our member societies in regards to the COVID pandemic from the past 2 years. Greeting from ISRT, the Board of Management. Ms. Donna Newman is the president at the moment, and I am Napapong Pongnapang, the vice president for Asia and Australasia region. ISRT is the voice of more than 500,000 radiography and radiation therapy professionals worldwide, with the mission statement to improve the standards of delivery and practice of medical imaging and radiation therapy throughout the world by acting as the international for medical radiation technology and by promoting quality patient care, education, and research in the radiation medicine science. That's our mission. And we are very happy to have the new society member from India, 2 Indian societies joining us from the last council meeting online in Dublin World Congress. Congratulations again and welcome to the ISRT home and the members throughout the world join together as a big family. The ISRT will work closely with World Health Organization, International Atomic Energy Agency and IAEA, European Federation of Radiological Societies, and International Commission for Radiological Protection, ICRP. ISRT was founded back in 1952. That was our foundation year. It's been a long time, with the first president, Ms. Dina Van Dyke, and the first General Secretary, Mr. Raymond Hutchinson. We honor these 2 pioneers as the founding member of our global professional society. Back in 1962, there were 15 countries involved with 21,900 members from around the world. And that was 15 countries back then. Now we have more than 80 countries with more than 500,000 members. The mission for ISRT is quality patient care, education, and research. So the ISRT is the voice of the radiography professional worldwide with the key strategic priorities, including collaborate to develop and promote international standards, advocate for the profession, empower societies, and these are foundation for us to communication and governments. That's the foundation principle of our organization. If you look at radiology now and then, we celebrate today as World Radiography Day because our founding person, Dr. William Conrad Röntgen, he discovered X-ray on this date back in 1895. It's been a long time, and radiography has been evolved and has been progressed over the years. And what is World Radiography? The day and the day that we celebrate today. World Radiography Day is celebrated on 8th of November each year. The date marks the anniversary of discovery of X radiation by William Conrad Röntgen in 1895. Wilhelm Röntgen is a professor of physics in Würzburg, Bavaria, in Germany, discovered X-rays back in 1895 accidentally while testing whether cathode rays could pass through glass because he did not know what ray were. He called them X, meaning unknown ray. And radiographers worldwide can use the day and the days around the day to promote radiography as a career, as a vital contribution of modern healthcare, and as an opportunity to increase public awareness of diagnostic imaging and radiation therapy. That's today. This is from the Society and College of Radiographers, UK. We celebrate, ISRT celebrate World Radiography every year, and these were the poster of what we have done back in 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. We have different themes, and for this year's theme, this is very important, World Radiography Day for 2021, we highlight the role of the profession during the pandemic, and we just host the ISRT webinar live on Facebook, and we have Mr. Rajiv Krishnan from representing India as one of our speakers. Congratulations on this. And the theme of this year is the role of the radiographer in a pandemic. The ISRT response to the COVID pandemic, we have done numbers of good things, and we got support from our members, societies. The guideline that we have developed, and there are numbers of issues around COVID-19 pandemic for the profession, because at first we did not know much about this COVID-19, and we have limited access to the practice standard of the profession, including infection control and patient care in special circumstances that issues around pandemic of this COVID virus. And many places around the world, we have limited access to the personal protective equipment, the PPE. And one important issue is that how can we be recognized as a frontliners profession in response to this pandemic? Well, of course, we as the official have official relation with the World Health Organization. We have this support to set up the standard in collaboration with the WHO in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So ISRT has been asked by the WHO to collaborate in producing a technical document specifically for medical imaging department. This will address control of infection safety practice, whilst also being mindful of radiation protection practice. We have to have two things in mind, both infection control and radiation protection. And we successfully published this ISRT COVID-19 guideline that has been adopted by numbers of member societies worldwide. And we have a numbers of checklists so that you can download from this website, from ISRT website, isrt.org. We have these information on our website there. And for international collaboration, networking is one of the key foundation of the activity of the organization. We with numbers of the member society, and one best thing that happened to us is the Facebook Live. This creation of this program draw attention from radiographers and technologists worldwide to join together. We have done during the start of the pandemic, we have done like every other week with different topics. And we first started with topics around the COVID pandemic, and we got huge support from our member society from all around the world. We have also address response to what members need. The members can be member society of Isrt and members of the member society in each country. As we have more than 80 member society from all around the world, our members have different challenges. We do listen to them. And this, of course, has shown our involvement in numbers of webinars that we have hosted. And also things in common that we have found, including the standard practice in dealing with COVID-19. That was new to us. And problem in access to surgical masks, N95 masks, and the PPE. And one of the more important thing, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, is the recognition of profession as a frontliner, because as long as we are recognized, we get good treatment from the government, we get good support from the government or from the Ministry of Health in terms of access to the standard care, to our practice like surgical masks and N95 masks and PPE, things like that. And a lot of countries, especially like in my country, we have shortage of manpower because we do not have enough number of radiographers in the first place. And then when we have to deal with this pandemic, with this airborne infection, a lot of hospitals cannot cope with this. And responses from ISRT, we published number of publication, and this one from the left is the ISRT response document, appropriate and safe use of medical imaging and radiation therapy with infection control measures considered in addition to standard radiation protection procedure that was approved by the board since April 2020. And we also develop resources to member society to use in COVID-19 pandemic. You can download from our website. And for the recognition of profession in the frontline status, we host this webinar with the representative from around the world. From Europe, we got Philippe Jusson. From France, from Asia, we got Pichi Lunar. From the America, we got Reshma Mahipat from Trinidad and Tobago. And from Africa, we got Rungasami from South Africa. And the practice, again, varies from one place to another. And this is evident that radiography profession is among the frontliners in this pandemic. International perspective provide good evidence-based feedback to the authority in many countries where the professionals still struggle to get proper recognition. We hand in hand, we join together, we collaborate to promote the status of our profession. And this episode has been clicked to watch more than 10,000 times, with 78,000 plus people reached for the Facebook link. That was very successful episode. And around the world, like our colleague in Nigeria radiographers as frontline workers, we have News and Views as our PR publication that we distribute. Now is online. Numbers of professional society that our members submit the news so that we can distribute this news throughout the world. And this is the example of how our Nigerian radiographers colleague responds to the COVID pandemic as the frontline workers. Part initiative to support recognition of frontline workers during COVID-19 pandemic from the Philippines. Pichi Luna has also published a very interesting article on our journal, on our News and View, about how did they do in the Philippines to get recognition. So lessons learned, COVID-19 has been a huge challenge, of course, not only to us radiographers, but to human. And COVID-19 is also a new kind of pandemic that medical professions have to learn how to deal with it quickly, but sometimes it was not quick enough. And radiographers and radiological technologists are one of the frontliners medical profession who provide imaging service to COVID-19 and the suspected COVID-19 infected patients. That's obvious. This is our role. And during the past 2 years, the profession has globally contributed not only to the professional services, but also academic and community service. We learn how to deal with the pandemic together, and we hope to overcome this huge challenge in, in human history together. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much, and thanks again for inviting me to involve in this webinar. And I do hope we can travel again soon and hope to visit you in India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A good philosopher mentioned during pandemic time, a radiographer is someone who has given his or her life to create the image to betterment of the patient. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable word and dedication and effort to make a radiographer proud all over the world. Your talk on theme of the role of radiographer in a pandemic has given a boost to radiology technology field. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So with this, moving forward, now I request our special guest, the Professor Paneer Selvam. He's a faculty from Sri Ramchandra University, Chennai, from India, to give an address to the students and to the whoever gathered here. All of you very well know about him. He is the one of the pioneer in the radiographer field in India, and he traveled all over the India. In each corner, he has given more than 500 talks in a different CME and conference and the lecture sessions. I welcome you, sir, for the further your talk.
Thank you, Mr. Sashi. Wish you all a very happy World Radiography Day to all the faculties and the delegates. Very good evening to the distinguished chief guest, Dr. Napawong Pongnapong, the Vice President of Asia, Australia, ISRRT. As I was mentioning, we met nearly 10 years before in Kanyakumari along with Dr. Bansal. Still, we remember that. Thank you, sir, for joining us. And I also would like to place my respect to the leaders, Mr. A. Selvakumar, President of ISRT, Mr. Suresh Malayat, General Secretary of ISRT, and Mr. Sashikumar Shetty, the Program Coordinator, along with Mr. Magesh. And other office bearers, delegates, and dear students. Once again, very good evening to all of you. And it is really indeed a great pleasure and very happy to meet all of you on the occasion of the celebration of the World Radiography Day 2021. First, I would like to congratulate and thank, wholehearted thanks to all the radiographers and technologists who have not seen that time frame and worked for the patient, as Mr. Shashi said, for the benefit of the patient in 2020 and 2021 in this pandemic period. All of us has to salute them. Then I would like to congratulate Mr. Sashi and team for organizing such a wonderful online competition for students. And my best wishes to all the dear students who are participating in this mega online competition event. This sort of an online competition in pandemic situation, if you see, is something like an academic gift for the students and the budding technology. So don't miss it. It is something like, as I mentioned, it's an academic gift for you. So don't miss it, because most of you are sitting at home. You have not gone to the colleges for quite some time. And this particular program, like this, so many programs are going throughout the country. All this program you consider as an academic gift, which is going to develop your skill and knowledge. See, please remember that future is going to be a competitive world. Always Anto and me used to discuss that the future is not an easy one. It is a competitive world. So all of us should have an intention as well as the interest to upgrade our skill and knowledge. That only can support us in future. It's a very important thing. We should never forget it. And all of us should also feel very happy as Mr. Suresh was mentioning that now ISRT is being associated with the international organization ISRRT. It's really a proud moment for all of us getting associated with the international organization. Okay. With these few words, without wasting much time, once again, I would like to thank all the office bearers for giving and organizing this wonderful event. And of course, Mr. Sashi is going to have a tough time of having a program for another, what you call, something like a series of programs. And of course, for him, it is not a new one. He has done already. Best wishes to Mr. Sashi and team. And once again, thank you, Sir Dr. Napong Pongnapong, for joining us. Still, we remember the Kanyakumari along with AP Berry sir and Mr. Ranjit Singh. I hope you remember that. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. As always, your motivational word will boost every students, faculty, the staffs, especially in the radiology fraternity. Thank you once again. With this, we'll move forward. Now I request Selva Kumar, a president of ISRT India, to give a vote of thanks.
Namaste all. Very good evening, one and all. It is my pleasure and indeed a happy moment to be on this inaugural session of that World Radiography Day celebration conducted by our association ISRT. With that programs continue with that academic sessions, competitions, quiz programs by our society. It is my pleasure that Dr. Napopang, Vice President ISRRT and Regional Director Asia Australasia, is considered and accepted our invitation to inaugurate our session on the online competitions today as a part of the World Radiography Day Celebration 2021. Thank you so much, sir. It's our pleasure that we are associating with your organization ISRRT, and for the past 1 decade we are in continuing touch with you and making our professionals here to the next level of international. Thank you very much, sir. In spite of your very busy schedule, and today is a World Radiography Day, throughout world, so many programs. The morning onwards, we are watching that continuously, one by one, lot of programs from each and every section of that people from different parts of the world conducting programs. You are coordinating all the programs. In spite of this busy schedule, you accepted our invitation and kind enough to inaugurate our sessions. It's first time we are having you directly in our program. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words, and yeah, definitely with your guidance, we'll definitely go ahead with that international hernia. Thank you so much, sir. And I congratulate Mr. Shashi Shetty and his team for making this viable and wonderful program compressing year after year. They are making it programs here very fine-tuned one and appreciated by nook and corner of the Indian origins in India and outside. And thank you, Shashi Shetty ji and team, for making these efforts and make the very good program. And so many corners of the teaching institutions, I am getting appreciations regarding this program. And on this special occasion, my sincere gratitude and thanks to Mr. Suresh Malaji, our General Secretary, whose untired efforts make our association into international hernia. Thank you, Sureshji. With your efforts, today our Vice President ISRRT is with us and make our program. Yeah, his presence makes our program a very good one. Thank you for that, Napopangji and Sureshji. And is Mrs. Suresh Palad is the backbone of our association and make all these efforts to take pain and make the instrumental in keeping ahead. And Mr. Professor Paniselvam sir is very much with us. He is that association, or he is the backbone of that all the programs, all the pioneering visions to make these scientific programs a great level. Thank you, sir. With your vision, definitely we'll go ahead and make our academic fees next levels. And our sincere thanks and gratitude to all the National Council members, EC members, office bearers, and of all the chase chapter and all the judges of this program, and Commander Daniel sir, Joseph sir, and others who behind the scene and in front of the scene making this program a very good one. Thank you all. And at last, my sincere thanks to all radiographers who worked during the pandemic period, keeping the spirit, keep helping hands to the millions of professionals. Without your support, the medical field, the making that COVID patient treatment is not a possible one. With your support, all the programs gone very well. India ahead of all these COVID programs. Thank you all. Thank you one and all who support the programs. And last and not least, ISRT extend warm welcome and sincere thanks to all the participants of this event and guided by our eminent professionals in the field. Thank you all, and thank you the judges. Without your active participation, no program will be successful. Thank you all for your support. Thank you. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable word. Before we leave our today's chief guest, I just like to mention we have above 700 participants in quiz and above 140 participants in oral presentation who is registered for the program is organized by ISRT. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time. And we'll see you some other day with, as you mentioned, in physically appearance when it's possible in India. We will move forward for student presentation henceforth. First of all, I congratulate the participant who selected for the best 4 in the topic of radiography, modalities, and radiation protection. As I mentioned, we have 4 best presenter today out of the n number of registration. We have a first presenter, Aisha Anwar. She's a student from UCB MSH Basic and Life Science College, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. She's going to present in the topic of production of X-rays. And similarly, the next presenter is Josvita Monterio. She's a student from Anapoya deemed to be University from Karnataka. She's going to talk about radiation safety in dental radiography. And next presenter, we have Saina Soni. She's from School of Medical Education, Gandhinagar, Kottayam from Kerala. She's going to talk about computer radiography. And the last presenter, we have a Tansia Perez. She's a student from KSRD Medical Academy, NITI deemed to be University from Karnataka. She's going to talk about radiation protection in radiology. I request Mahesh sir, who is the behind of all this technical part, to give a preference to the video in further. And please, judges, please note, after all 4 presentation is followed by question and answer session. Our Anto sir is the first judge of the today, and as well as after the Anto sir questions is followed by our Honorable Dr. S.C. Bansal sir and followed by Mohan Bhagat sir. Over to Mahesh sir. Of presenter who is going to talk in the topic of radiography modalities and radiation protection. We have a first presenter, Aisha Anwar. She is a student from Basic and Life Science College from Uttarakhand. She is going to talk in the topic of production of X-rays.
Hello everyone, my name is Aisha Anwar. I am a student of BMRIT third year studying in Uttaranchal PG College of Biomedical Sciences and Hospital, Dehradun. Today I am going to present a topic called X-ray production through my presentation. Let's start the topic. So these are the basic outlines which we are going to study through this presentation. Let's start with the first one, that is introduction. Firstly, we should understand the basic construction of the X-ray tube. The X-ray tube is made up of Pyrex glass that encloses a vacuum and contains 2 electrodes. The electrodes are designed so that electrons produced at the cathode can be accelerated by a high potential difference towards the anode. Electrons are produced by the heated tungsten filament and accelerated across the tube to hit the tungsten target where the X-rays are produced. Basically, the X-rays are produced by the energy conversion when the fast-moving stream of electrons are suddenly de-accelerated in the target anode of the X-ray tube. Let us review the atomic structure. We all know that in 1897, J.J. Thomson discovered a negatively charged particle which is much smaller than any atom, which came to be called as electron. Based on the work of Rutherford and Bohr, a simple model of atom may be visualized as a massive positively charged nucleus surrounded by the electrons in orbit of specified diameters. The nucleus of an atom is made up of several types of elementary particles termed as nucleons. Of the nucleons, only protons and neutrons will be considered in this discussion because they are only those ones spotted outside the field of nuclear physics. The electrons are negatively charged revolving around the nucleus. Because an atom is always electrically neutral in its normal state, it must contain equal number of protons and electrons. The simplest way to describe an atom is to visualize a central positive nucleus with electrons in circular orbit about the nucleus. The atomic system allows 2 electrons in the first orbit, up to 8 in the second, up to 18 in the third, up to 32 in the fourth, and up to 50 in the fifth. The electron orbits are designated by the letters K, L, M, and O, and so on. Now, the requirements for the X-ray production. The first one is cathode. The electron source acts as a cathode. Electrons can be produced either by ionization in gas or by thermionic emission. Next is anode. Anode is act as a target to stop the electrons. The high voltage is applied between the cathode and the anode. This voltage accelerates the electrons to a higher velocity. The vacuum. High vacuum is maintained between the anode and cathode because of the following 2 reasons. The first one is to avoid collision between the electrons and gas molecules, and the second one is to avoid oxidation of tungsten filament in the cathode. The glass envelope and housing are required because it absorbs the X-rays emerging in a desired direction. It maintains the required vacuum. It acts as an electrical insulator, and it also contains the cooling system. Now, the process for the X-ray generation. X-rays are produced by energy conversion when fast-moving electrons from the filament of the X-ray tube interact with a tungsten anode target. This can be understood as follows. When the high voltage is applied between the cathode and anode, the cathode is heated and emits an electron. These electrons travel towards the target. These fast-moving electrons possess kinetic energy. This kinetic energy is converted into heat and X-rays on interaction. This conversion taken place on a target material. X-rays can be produced by 2 different processes. One involves the interaction of electron with the nucleus of tungsten atom, and the second involves the collision between the high-speed electrons and the electrons in the shell of the target tungsten atom. Let us understand them one by one. Let's start with the first one, that is brimstone radiation. It is a German word which means pegging radiation or slow radiation. It is a process of radiative collision between the electron and the nucleus and the target. The electrons between the cathode and anode have a potential energy that is equal to the product of their electrostatic charge. As the electrons accelerate, this potential energy is transformed into kinetic energy. It occurs when the high-speed electrons interact with the nuclear field. Negative electrons and the positive nucleus have a mutual interaction. The energy of the nuclear field is so great that the incident electron slows down. This diverts the incident electron path and causes a loss of energy, and it is emitted as the X-ray photon. As a result, velocity changes. The electron may lose their kinetic energy in the form of brimstone X-rays. The amount of brimstone X-rays production is determined by the distance between the bombarding electrons and the nucleus. Suppose the electron is at a very large distance, hence the Coulombic force is weak. Low energy X-rays is created, and this is higher probability to occur. Second one, the electrons at a very close distance. Their Coulombic force is strong. Higher energy X-rays is created, lower probability to occur. Next one is characteristic X-ray protection. In this, electron with kinetic energy may interact with the atoms of the target by ejecting an orbital electron from the key shell. Now, there is a vacancy in the key shell and the atom is said to be ionized. The outer orbital electron from L shell or M shell will fall down to fill the vacancy at the key shell. During the transmission, the difference in binding energy of the two shells is radiated as a photon, which is called the characteristic radiation. This will have only discrete energies. If the transition involves an electron falling from L shell to K shell of a tungsten target, then the photon emitted will have energy E is equal to AK minus EL, where EK and EL are the binding energies of the K and L shells of the tungsten atom respectively. The energy transitions are designated by the shell capturing the electrons with a subscript of alpha or beta. The subscript alpha refers to adjacent shell transition, that is L to K transition. The subscript beta refers to non-adjacent shell transition, that is M to K transition. The only K characteristic X-rays are important in radiology because other characteristic X-rays are entirely attenuated by the tube window and filters. Hence, the clue voltage applied must be greater than the 69.5 kilo electron volt for tungsten target, 20 kilo electron volt for molybdenum, and 23.2 kilo electron volt for rhodium target respectively, which is called threshold energy. As the energy of the incident electron increases above the threshold energy, the percentage of characteristic X-rays also increases. Now, the factors affecting the quality and intensity of X-ray photon. First one is applied voltage. Energy of photon emitted from the X-ray tube depends on the energy of the electron that bombards the target. As the applied voltage increases, the effective photon energy also increases. Next, tube current. The number of X-ray produced depends on the number of electrons that strike the target of the X-ray tube. The number of electrons depend directly on the tube current used. Next, the intensity will increase with the increase in atomic number of the target material. Exposure time determines the length of the X-ray protection. In beam filtration, the filtered beam consists of high energy photons, which is said to be hardened. Last but not the least, X-ray beam intensity decreases.
We have a
with the
next
distance from
presenter,
the target
Josvita
because of the
Monterio.
divergence of the X-ray
She is
beam.
NOPIO deemed to be university student. She is going to present in the topic of radiation safety in dental radiography.
Hello everyone, myself Josvita Monteiro, MSc MIT student of NOPIO deemed to be university, here before you to present my oral presentation on the topic radiation safety in dentistry. The reason for the topic selection is nowadays demand for dental X-ray is quickly increasing worldwide. Radiograph is the most important diagnostic tool in dentistry which helps in diagnosis and treatment of dental problems. So coming to what is dental X-rays. Dental X-rays help dentists to visualize disease of teeth and surrounding tissue. According to World Health Organizers, around 60 to 90% of school children and nearly 100% of adults have dental problems. X-rays in dentistry are the common source of radiation exposure. So coming to the uses of dental X-ray. Dental X-ray images help dentists to diagnose, plan and monitor both treatments and lesion development. Usually X-rays are taken during dental treatment, dental surgery, dental implants, orthodontics and for many more purposes. These are the dental X-ray equipments used for taking dental images. So we can see the first image showing the intraoral dental equipment, cephalometric dental equipment, panoramic X-ray equipment and cone beam CT dental equipment. And these are different techniques that use radiation to produce dental images. These are the dental images: intraoral X-ray image, panoramic X-ray image, cephalometric X-ray image and cone beam CT dental image. Each of these dental images are used for a different purpose. Each technique uses a different amount of. This is the radiation exposure chart, which shows amount of radiation exposure received under each technique or different X-ray sources. The amount of radiation received in intraoral, cephalometric and panoramic X-rays are less compared to CBCT scan. Coming to the types of radiation protective equipment used in dental department, like lead apron, lead shield, and this lead shield is having a lead glass window so that the operator can watch the patient through this window, and the thyroid shield and gonad shield. These are the radiation protective equipment used, and this will protect from the radiation. Surrounding area of dental X-ray equipment must be protected from radiation to avoid exposure to persons away from the radiation source, so that the primary beam never be directed at anyone other than patient. Patient should be positioned such that the X-ray beam aimed at the wall of the room and not through the doors or other opening where people may be located. So for this purpose, dental X-ray room shielding must be done. This is the image of guidelines provided by Atomic Energy Regulatory Board for dental room shielding. Primary barriers should be incorporated in any part of the floor, ceiling or wall of the room at which the beam is fired. Secondary barrier in the wall provide protection against scattered or leakage radiation. Wall, doors, windows of the room should be provide protection against radiation. Outside the dental X-ray room, warning light and placards should be kept to give awareness to the people. Now coming to the protection for patient. Like prior to the radiation exposure, like we have to see for the proper prescription and proper equipment should be selected. And during exposure, thyroid shield, lead apron, proper exposure factors, film holding device, fast film, rectangular collimator. Like this, if we are following these techniques, we can reduce the radiation dose. And after exposure, like proper film handling, film processing, and proper interpretation should be done. These all the techniques, if we are using, it will protect the patient from unnecessary radiation. Protecting the operator. Like the operator is not permitted to hold patient during exposure, and if the operator is holding the patient during exposure, then he has to wear the lead gloves. And operator should stand behind a protective barrier and keep a distance from the X-ray source of 6 feet. That is, the operator should stand a distance of 6 feet from the X-ray source. And handheld dental radiographic machine should have the backscatter shield. And the operator should have a personal monitoring device which will record the amount of radiation received. Techniques used to reduce patient exposure, like select appropriate technique, adjustment of parameters, use rectangular collimators, use protective barriers, giving or continue education to the patient. Outside room, caution signs should be present. Coming to the conclusion, like radiograph is the most important diagnostic tool in dentistry. This proper protection is provided while exposing the patient.
We have
These
a next
are the
presenter,
references I
Ms.
have gone
Saina
through.
Soni. She is a
Thank
student
you.
from School of next presenter, Ms. Saina Soni. She is a student from School of Medical Education, Gandhinagar from Kerala. She is going to present a topic in computed radiography.
Hi everyone. In this presentation, we will be focusing on computed radiography. I am Saina Soni, second year BMRT student, School of Medical Education, Gandhinagar, Kerala. Computed radiography was the first modernized system to replace screen film radiography. So, as an introduction, computed radiography is a process of capturing data from conventional X-ray machine and processing the data digitally to produce crisp and high-quality radiographic images. Computer radiography technology is based on certain halide-based phosphors having energy storage and excitation characteristics known as photostimulable luminescence or PSL. The PSL enables the phosphor to store X-ray energy temporarily and release that energy upon excitation by a laser beam. So, now let's discuss about the difference between screen film imaging and computed radiography. Both screen film imaging and computed radiography use an X-ray sensitive image receptor. In screen film radiography, we can see films inside the cassette, and in computed radiography, we can see Psp screens inside the cassette. Both were encased in a protective cassette. And both can be used interchangeably with any X-ray imaging system. That means we don't have to exchange or refurbish our X-ray rooms. We can use the same equipment. The only difference is how the images are extracted. And both carry a latent image that must be made visible by processing. Now, difference in processing. In screen film radiography, the image is manifested through chemical processing. Here we are using developers and fixers for chemical processing. Or here the image is manifested through manual processing. Now, in computer radiography, we were using computer softwares to convert the latent image into analog signals. Components used in computer radiography. Computer radiography is the generic term applied to an imaging system comprised of photostimulable storage phosphor screens or Psp screens. Psp screen is what actually going to acquire the X-ray projection from the patient. And CR reader. CR reader is what extracts the image from this PSP by taking the analog signal and converting it into a digital signal. Readers can replace the darkroom and processor. Digital electronics. To convert the analog signal to digital form, analog to digital converter, digital electronics are used. Workstations for manipulation of images, laser printer to make hard copies of images. Now let's discuss a little bit about Psp screens. The photostimulable phosphor Psp screen is positioned within the cassette. The commonly used phosphor material is barium fluorohalide, and it has several layers. These are the layers of Psp screen. The outermost layer is the protective layer. This is a very thin, tough, clear plastic that protects the phosphor layer. The phosphor layer or active layer, a photostimulable phosphor European activated barium fluorohalide crystals that traps the electrons during exposure is present in this layer. The latent image is formed in this layer, and it contains light absorbing dye to prevent light spread. The reflective layer. This is the layer sends light in the forward direction when released in the cassette reader. Conductive layer. This is a light absorbing layer made up of conductive needle-like crystals that absorbs any unreflected light as well as any electrostatic charges. Support base layer. Polyester base layer gives structural rigidity to the Psp screens. Light shielding layer. This is a carbon particle layer that prevents the light from leaking from the rear of the imaging plate. Backing layer. This is to absorb backscatter. This is the soft polymer that protects the back of the cassette, and the barcode reader is placed here. Doping of Psp. Psp plate is coated with europium activated barium fluorohalide crystals in the phosphor layer. Doping of europium creates defects in the barium fluorohalide crystals that allows electrons to be trapped more efficiently. Now let's discuss about the action of X-ray exposure in Psp. We can see Psp screen coated with europium activated barium fluorohalide crystals here. When the Psp screen is exposed to X-ray photon, the X-ray excites the europium atoms causing ionization to europium atom. The divalent europium is converted to trivalent europium. The electrons are raised to higher energy state in the conduction band, where they are free to move until it is trapped in the F center. It is a metastable state, and the number of trapped electrons per unit area is proportional to intensity of X-rays incident at that location. These electrons constitute the latent image in computer radiography. Now let's go for the processing of latent image in computer radiography. The CR cassette with the latent image is placed in the reader, and the PSP is extracted and raster scanned with intense red laser beam. The laser beam stimulates the electrons trapped in the F center, and these electrons leaves the high energy conduction band to lower energy valence band, and these electrons are reabsorbed by the europium atoms. This involves the liberation of high energy, and this is done by the emission of blue-violet light. These light signals are detected by photomultiplier tube that amplifies and sends it to digitizer. The analog to digital converter digitizes the signal. It is assigning numerical value of each photon. The final process is erasing. Not all electrons have came back to the initial phase after reading. System automatically erases the plate by flooding it with light to remove any electrons still trapped after initial plate reading. Exposure to a bright fluorescent light removes the remaining information in 10 to 15 seconds. The imaging plate is reinserted into the cassette for reuse. Any remnants of the previous image results in an artifact known as image ghosting. Here we can see remnants of a pelvis image in a chest X-ray film. Here are some other artifacts caused by damage in the imaging plate. This is a graphical representation of steps in image acquisition and processing in computer radiography. Here are some advantages and disadvantages of computer radiography. PACS system is possible in computer radiography.
Yeah, we have the last presenter, Ms. Tancia Perez. She is from KSAGDI Medical Academy, NITED MTB University. She is going to present the topic of radiation protection in radiology.
Hello everyone, I'm Tancia Perez, MSc MIT from KSAGDI Medical Academy. The topic for my presentation is radiation protection. Now as we begin, let us take a look at some pictures. Here we see hydrocephalus, induced burns, infertility, carcinogenic effect, spina bifida, cataract, and that is microcephaly. Now why have I shown all these pictures? That's because these are some of the effects of radiation on human biological tissue. Now that we have discussed so many effects that radiation can cause to us, let us move on to the main topic, that is radiation protection. How we can protect ourselves from all these radiation effects. What is radiation protection? It is basically the steps taken by the radiation worker to protect the patient, the radiation worker himself, and the general public from unnecessary exposure to ionizing radiation. So the main aim is to minimize the radiation exposure, at the same time maintain the quality of the radiographic images. The three principles of radiation protection are justification, optimization, and dose limit. Justification states that radiation must not be used unless it is recommended, that is, the benefits are higher than the risks. Optimization means that the magnitude of the doses, the number of people exposed, and all that should be optimum. It should be as low as reasonably achievable. And the dose limit. It should be set to ensure that no individual faces unacceptable risk of high dosage. And based on these three principles of radiation protection, there was an acronym by NCRP called ALARA, as low as reasonably achievable. But then there is some glitch, right? As low as in the dosage, if they are really low, what about the quality of the image? So hence it was later changed to Alarp, that is, as low as reasonably practicable, which means that the radiation dosage should be low. It should be reduced as far as reasonably practicable. At the same time, a good quality of image has to be maintained. The three cardinal principles of Alarp are time, distance, and shielding. Under time, we must know that the dose to the individual is directly proportional to the duration of radiation exposure. So the longer time the patient is under radiation exposure, more will be the effect. Second principle is distance. So as the distance between the source and the person increases, the radiation exposure will decrease. And this is based on an inverse square law, which states that the intensity of radiation is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from the source. So if the distance is doubled, the intensity of radiation will be divided by 4. And the third principle is shielding. So a shield is a material that attenuates radiation, that does not allow radiation to pass through it or cuts down the radiation that passes through it. We have X-ray tube shielding, room shielding, personal shielding, and patient shielding. The room shielding is further divided into primary protective barriers and secondary protective barriers. In primary protective barrier is the one that is facing the primary beam. Or the useful beam of X-rays. So it could be either the wall or a ceiling that is faced by the primary X-ray beam. The secondary protective shielding is the ones that save us from the secondary radiations. What are secondary radiations? It could be the leakage from the X-ray tube or the scattered radiation from the patient. So examples of secondary barriers are the walls adjacent to the primary barrier or the lead barriers that we use. And the patient shielding. And this is done by using radiation protection devices such as lead aprons, lead goggles, thyroid shields, lead gloves, and gonadal shields. Let us study lead aprons first. Lead apron must have lead equivalents of 0.2 mm thickness of lead, or 0.5 mm is used in fluoroscopy or interventional procedures where there are long duration of exposures. And there are also 1 mm lead equivalent aprons available, but they are barely used because of their heavy weight, which could cause spinal injuries, etc. Now, a solution to the problem of heavy weight of lead aprons is that the availability of lead-free aprons. These are made using tungsten or antimony or bismuth, aluminium, tin, titanium, etc. Gloves. These are made of lead and it has about 0.25 of lead equivalents, and these should be worn whenever hands must be placed near fluoroscopic field. Thirdly, we have neck and thyroid shield. These are used in general fluoroscopy or X-ray special procedures. Okay, and they should have minimum of 0.5 mm lead equivalent. Protective eyeglasses protects the eye lens of occupational workers or technicians from scatter radiation. So these have minimum of 0.35 lead equivalents and up to 0.5 mm lead equivalents as well. Next is gonadal shields. These protect the reproductive organs from exposure to radiation in males and females, and these have of about 0.5 mm lead equivalents, and these are of different types like flat contact shields, shadow shields, shaped contact shields, or clear lead shields. So here is a chart showing the dose limit recommended by the ICRP, okay, for an occupational worker as well as a public, that is a patient, okay, for the different parts of the body. You for your patient listening. I hope you have followed what I tried to explain through the course of my presentation.
Thank you all the participants. Now I request all the judges to go ahead with the question and answers.
Thank you, Shashi. And it's Aisha. Aisha, are you here?
I request all other the participants, please keep a camera on.
Aisha, are you here? If Aisha is not there, can we move the next one, or should I have to wait?
Sir, go ahead, move ahead.
Joshvita? Joshvita is also not there.
Joshvita is there. Joshvita, please switch on your video.
Joshvita, can you hear us?
Sir, you can ask a question to the next person, then you can come back.
Okay, fine. And Saini Soni. Saina Soni. Okay. I think these three people are not. Am I audible, Shashi? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I will move on to Tansia. Tansia?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And thank you, Tansia. I think you have spoken about radiation protection and good attempt. Only two things I want to know. What about the you are spoken about protective devices, and what about the measuring devices used in radiation protection?
Yes, sir. There are measuring devices. Basically, the mostly used is the TLD batch that we use in day-to-day.
What is TLD?
Thermolucent dosimeter.
Okay. Anyway, good. And only one question to you is, see, in your slide you have mentioned 2 MSV dose for pregnancy. So the latest update, it has been 2 years, it is 1 MSV. I think if you know, it's not a problem, because because in an MSc student, you are going to train your other team members, and wish you all the best, Tansia.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, over to you, sir.
Okay. Tanisha, they have presented a good talk on this, what you call, radiation protection radiology.
Thank you, sir.
What are the room size for this general radiography, for fluoroscopy, for CT? Can you explain? What's the recommendation for the room size?
So it depends, like 2 meter by 2 meters. And basically in radiation protection, we focus on the thickness of the walls, sir, because of if either the walls are lead line, or the brick size thickness should be, if it is brick, then it is around 23 centimeters. And if it is concrete, it is around 15.
I'm not asking the thickness of the barriers. I'm asking about the room size.
So 2 meters
minimum
by 2
room
meters.
size, no? It is 50 feet, 100 feet, 220 feet. What's the recommended size?
Oh,
It's a good topic. You cover so much things, but you
yeah.
left this, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Tansya, don't get panic. Sir is
Yeah.
going to teach
10
you
meters.
also. Yeah.
10 meters by 10 meters, sir.
For fluoroscopy, radiography, CT scan.
So X-ray room layout.
What of fluoroscopy?
So yeah,
So
actually you can use.
you're not telling exactly. You just guesswork, no? You're not sure, no?
So 10 meters, I am sure about X-ray layout.
What the meaning of 10 meter, no?
Sorry, sir.
10 meter. How much feet? How many feet?
Feet. So I wouldn't know that exact amount.
You can't convert, no? Anyhow, good. So you have to learn this thing, no? Okay. Next time you come.
Yes, sir.
Please, Mr. Bhagwat.
Sir, you have to unmute, sir.
You are not audible, sir.
Mohan sir, you have to unmute your... Mohan sir, you have to unmute, sir.
Unmute, please.
Unmute from there only.
Yeah. Now we are able to hear you, sir.
Tansya,
Yes,
first
sir.
I would like to appreciate your braveness. That in front of the senior teachers, you came and presented your paper. It's not an easy job.
Thank you, sir.
A topic which you have chosen, radiation safety, one of the most important chapter we are teaching in the classes. Though much part goes to the medical physicist, but one should learn the basic principle of safety. You was advocating the use of lead apron, gonadal shield, thyroid shield, or that's for whom? For the radiographer or for the patient?
So in most cases, if it is interventional procedures and all, as far as possible, the radiation worker has to use it. Because because occupational worker is the one who is in that radiation exposure for a longer duration compared to a patient.
Right. But what about the patient?
So
suppose
in
pelvic area and suppose cervical spine X-ray is like that, then?
Yeah, so for a patient, it is just once in a while. So when we can use, if it is not affecting the area of interest, then we can use these radiation protecting devices. But if not, sir, this dose is at least in X-rays, it is quite less. So and hormesis tell us that a little amount of radiation is good also. So it is not very, and we also said the distance between the X-ray tube and all. So that also is quite
I'm
reasonable.
not asking that. The distance is the God
So
gift.
the dose
More
is
the
not very
distance,
high.
more the safety. I'm
Sir?
asking this the use of radiation protection devices which you are advocating for different types of you have explained. So when we are going to read Alara
Yes, sir.
principles, then the word optimization.
Yes, sir.
So what is the optimization? You must opt all type of technique or method those are available to keep the dose minimum.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
for that context, I was asking whether you will give the lead apron or lead thyroid shield or oral shield to the patient or not when you are taking suppose lower abdominal X-ray or doing for the pregnant.
So not always, because X-ray exposures dosage is very low. So this is mostly used
Yes,
for the. Okay.
you are very much right. Nowadays, our old books says that we must use this one, but
Yeah.
no.
But
The
no.
new journal says that these things are not needed for the patient because patient coming for their own benefit.
Yes, sir.
So you have to receive the dose.
Yes, sir.
Only by giving one lead or one we go for the last 70 years or 80 years. There is no accidental. Only thing that international radiology, the exposure dose is quite high and the patient are returning
Yes, sir. That's
with
the
the
percentage.
valuable effects. Yeah,
Yes,
okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tansya. Tansya, what we are all three wanted telling you is because being an MSc student, that's what. Otherwise, nothing to there.
Yes, sir.
Now, I would like to add that Sir Bansal asked the question, which you say that to me that walls should be thick and distance is the God gift. More the distance. So if room is larger, you are not going to make
more
thick wall or shielded wall. Understand?
Less
There are
shielding is
certain
required.
parameters for the
So
fluoroscopy,
inversely,
for the
you say already said
radiography.
radiation is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So
Yes.
naturally, less shielding will be required.
Yes.
Anyhow, it's a good presentation, but keep
Thank
it up. Be confident.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tansia.
Thank you, sir.
Josvita,
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Josvita. I think you had presented on IOPA, dental X-ray.
Yes, sir.
See, what type of collimators is used? Because you are talking about collimators for dental.
Yeah, like previously it was using like cone shaped, but now we are like for reducing the radiation dose, like it is better to use rectangular collimators.
No, I think now also the cone only is being
Cone.
used. I think you
Cone,
have shown of images of cone also. So I think
Yeah.
that's there. And during this pandemic, how we are handling this IOPA X-rays? Actually, IOPA, you said no. What it is? The expansion of IOPA.
Intraoral pantomography.
Periapical radiograph.
Yeah.
No, because no, dental radiography is not easy and it should be very hygienic. That's the reason we are asking during this pandemic. The dentist, even they were asking COVID test and other things. So at this, see, whenever you are presenting, no, try to look at the current scenario and also add 2-3 lines. So that will make us little more that you are updated on to the current situation. That's it from my side. Sir, over to you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just with this talk is on the dental. That is radiation safety in dental radiography.
Yes, sir.
So it's a very vital issue, no? Dental radiography, we generally neglect it, radiation safety in the dental.
Yeah, because like previous time on all, like the patients were like less who are going for dental X-rays. Now, like the patients who are going for taking dental X-rays has been increased because we can see now, like nowadays, like dental hospitals have been increased. Many of the people will go for the dental X-rays for dental problems.
So my question is, when we use the dental X-ray machine, can you tell the exposure parameters? What are the exposure parameter kilovolt and MA which are used in the dental machine?
Yeah, like 60 to 70 kVp is used and 8 to 12 MAS is used.
Have you seen how it is done? Have you ever seen?
Yes,
60, 70 kV never used for dental radiography.
Around 60 to 70.
No, not at all. You're mistaken. Tell me which unit has got this 60, 70 kV in the dental machine?
Like intraoral, I have.
Intraoral, we are talking about the intraoral radiography.
Yeah.
It is 40 to 50 kV, not 60, 70 kV. Okay.
Yes. Okay, sir.
So, kV is very less in dental, but more than mammography, less than general radiography.
Yeah.
It is in the range of 40 to 50 kV, not 50, 60 kV. Okay. Just remember it. Okay.
Yeah,
Pass on to Mr. Bhagwat, please.
Hi, Josvita.
Yes, sir.
Very good evening.
Good evening, sir.
So, how are you feeling after this presentation?
Yeah, this is my first presentation I have done.
So, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
You have presented very well.
Okay, sir.
I would like to ask that most of the X-ray machines providing with the handheld exposure switch with a coilish wire. Why this design is given? Why the importance of this?
It is to make the operator to stand away from the X-ray source. Like he can stand away from the X-ray source. And nowadays, like remote control, this thing has also been come. Like switches, remote control has been also been there, which helps the like operator can stand away from the X-ray source.
And what is the purpose of local rule in the dental department? We are making some local rules there.
Yeah, like operator should not hold the film. Like he should not stand near the patients, and also he has to stand while exposing. He has to stand behind the lead shield, or he should be away like 6 feet. He should be away from the X-ray source.
And
then the X-ray beam should be not focused towards the wall.
Towards the
Towards the door or any other openings. Like
Good.
to reduce the exposure towards the other environmental people.
Good, good, good.
Thank you, Joshvita, and good job and good try, and keep doing well. Okay,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Shashi, the other two members are not there, I think. Aisha and Saino.
Saina, Sony, and Aisha.
Can we move on to the next sessions? I think interventional, I think, is there, no?
Yes, sir. If we will see that at the end of the next topic, if they join, we will continue with that.
Okay.
We have a next topic in interventional radiology. We have a participant from the different part of India. Top four of them is selected for the final round. The Pranay Panda is a student from Centurion University of Technology and Management from Odisha. He is going to present preparation, contraindication, risk and medications in the interventional radiology. The second presenter is S. Manjula. She is a student from SRM Institute for Medical Science, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. She is going to present material used in cath lab. The third presenter is Ashwati P. So a student from KSAG Medical Academy, Nitted Dumtibu University from Karnataka. She is going to talk about 4 vessels angio. And the last presenter of the day is Karthik S. SRM Institute for Medical Science, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. He is going to talk about radiation safety aspects in interventional radiology.
Mr. Shashi, there were a lot of disruption in the previous presentations, no?
Yeah, slightly the technical issue, sir. I think this time it will be all right.
Yeah, Pranay, I think you can start your session, I think. Pranay.
Into the second topic of the day, interventional radiology. The first presenter is Pranay Panda. He is a Centurion University of Technology student from Odisha. He is going to present preparation and contraindication risk in interventional radiology.
Pranay Panda, my topic is preparation, contraindication, risk and medication in IPR. First, we discuss about interventional radiology. It is a subspecialty which provides minimally invasive technique with the help of imaging modality to diagnose or treat a condition. Minimally invasive means it is the small incision or insertion of an instrument into our body cavity. Then here local anesthesia is given, that is anesthesia is given in particular part. Then it is used in diagnostic and treatment purposes. It shows early recovery time. Then 8 of the 10 procedure use small incision that is less than 5 mm. 9 of the 10 procedures use only local anesthesia with sedation. Then 8 of the 10 patients go home on the same day. Then preparation. Collect history and clinical examination report. Informed consent is taken. It is the image of consent form. Then patients will be well hydrated. Fasting is 4 hours prior to the procedure to avoid nausea, vomiting. Then save and clean the arterial puncture site. Gelatin sensitivity test is done, and urea creatinine level is must check before the procedure. Then preparation. Preparations part. Then the following tests should be done, that is PT, PTT, PT, CT, then HBsAg and HIV, then ESR pulse chart, then any history of drug intake, history of diabetes mellitus, then history of coronary heart diseases. Then normal value of the following test: PT is 10 to 13 seconds, PTT is 30 to 45 seconds, then BT is 2 to 7 minutes, CT is 8 to 15 minutes, then urea 7 to 20 mg per dl, creatinine 0.74 to 1.35 mg per dl, platelet count is 150 to 450 K per microliter. Then contraindications are clotting disorder, renal failure, cardiac arrest, cardiac failure, then hepatic failure. Hepatic failure that is related to the liver, then abnormal renal function, then skin infection or swelling at the site of entry. Other contraindications are prothrombin time above the 30% of the control, thrombogenic tendency, thrombus formation of blood clot inside the blood vessel, cardiovascular diseases, history of allergy, skin rashes or asthma, pregnancy, barium from previous study. Then risks include bleeding and clotting, then infection, skin injury, aneurysm. Aneurysm means bulging of artery, then stroke, heart attack, then anaphylaxis, dizziness, and loss of consciousness. Other risks include low blood pressure, that is the hypotension, slower heart rate, that is the bradycardia, high heart rate, that is the tachycardia, fluid in the lungs, that is the pulmonary congestion, hematoma. Hematoma is the collection of blood outside the blood vessels. Then false aneurysm, arteriovenous fistula, that is the formation of fistula between arteries and veins. Then medications. Common medication includes for IBR is analgesic, that is drug to relieve pain, then antibiotics, that is slow down of the growth of bacteria, then anticoagulants, that is inhibiting the coagulation of the blood, then antiemetics, that is the effective against vomiting and nausea, then anti-inflammatory, that is reduces inflammation or swelling, then antiplatelet agent prevent forming a clot. Then sedatives, it makes the patient to sleep. Then thrombolytic agents are the drug that is able to dissolve the clot. Then vasoconstriction, it is that is used in narrowing of blood vessels by small muscles in their walls. Then vasodilators, that is the widening of the blood vessel leading to increased blood flow. Thank you.
Here we have a second presenter, S. Manjula. She is from SRM Institute for Medical Science, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. She is going to talk about material used in cath lab.
Warm wishes to all. I, S. Manjula, studying BAc MIT third year from SRM Institute for Medical Science, Vadapalani campus. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee to give this opportunity to talk on the topic materials used in cath lab. Let's see what are the contents to be covered in the entire topic. Interventional procedures, material used in cath lab, classification of catheters, embolic agent, stent graft. Let me explain this in detail. Interventional radiology. This is our institution cath lab, Philips Alora FD Biplane 20. Let me start with a small intro. Interventional radiology is minimally invasive image guided procedures to diagnose and to treat diseases in nearly every organ system of the body. Interventional procedure is done in two methods. One is neuro intervention and non-neuro interventions. Neuro interventional, let's see what are the procedures involved in it. Cerebral angiogram, aneurysm coiling, cerebrovascular AVM embolization, intracranial stenting, carotid stenting, and balloon-assisted angioplasty. Neuro interventions, bronchial and pulmonary, esophageal stenting and bronchial artery stenting is done. GI-urinary, renal artery stenting and uterine artery stenting is done. Gastrointestinal, GI bleed embolization and biliary stenting is done. Skeletal and extremity, vertebroplasty and peripheral angioplasty stenting is done. Next, we move on to materials used in cath lab. Introducer set, guide wire, catheters. See study specified materials, embolic agents, balloon catheter, stent graft. Let me see detail. Introducer set. It consists of a needle, vascular sheath, of various size guide wire introducer. The main purpose of the introducer set is to straighten the curved tip of the guide wire. Vascular sheaths are used to gain access to the vessels and facilitate the insertion of catheters or other accessories for diagnostic and therapeutic. This guide wire, a spring-shaped metal wire, in the inner core is made up of a stainless steel and Teflon coating as the outer core. The use of guide wire is the successful catheterization and an accurate guidance to reach the target. Catheters. It is a long, hollow, thin tube made up of a Teflon, polyethylene, polyurethane type of materials with one or several holes at the distal end. Each catheter has a specific length, diameter, tip configuration, wire admittance capacity to which it performs. It serves as a pipeline through which the catheter and other materials are introduced. Seldinger technique. Before starting this technique, Seldinger needle, the groin region should be clean and sterilized. Inject local anesthesia, locate the 3 cm inguinal ligament, insert the Seldinger needle, jet flow of blood will come out. After that, insert the guide wire through the needle, remove Seldinger needle, insert catheter sheath with the dilator, remove the dilator sheath. Now the catheter is now prepared to receive the catheter. Classification of catheters is classified into diagnostic angiography catheters, microcatheters, drainage catheters, balloon catheters, and central venous catheters. Let's see these in detail. Diagnostic catheter. It is a single hole at the end and end hole with side holes. These are these examples of the diagnostic catheters: straight catheters, pigtail catheters, cobra catheters, sidewinder catheter. Microcatheter. The catheter is less than 1 mm diameter is called microcatheter. It is of 3 pins or smaller, designed for distal catheterization. Drainage catheter. A pigtail catheter is used for draining a clear, non-viscous and coagulable collections of fluids. Balloon catheter. It is very soft or pliable as a occlusion balloon to clear thrombosis or can be rigid, used for dilation. Next we move on to embolic agent. Embolic agents are artificial agent introduced to the catheter, produces blockage. Embolization. It is a technique of blocking unwanted group or part of blood vessels. These are the types of embolic agent. It can be classified into 3: solid embolic agent, liquid embolic agent, mechanical embolic agent. Solid embolic agent, PVA particles of polyvinyl alcohol, it's a permanent embolic material. It can be available in varying sizes, 150 to 1000 μ. Can be easily injected through the microcatheter. It can be used in artery venous malformation, tumors, bleedings. Gel foam, an absorbable spongy material derived from gelatin. A surgical packing agents provide contact hemostasis. It is a temporary agent. These are the liquid embolic agents. One is NBCA and other one is Onyx. NBCA, butyl cyanoacrylate, and acrylic glue, commonly used for AVM procedure. Onyx, a newer liquid embolic agent, produces permanent vascular blockages. The main advantages are injected over a period of several times. Mechanical embolic agent. It is detachable balloons made up of a silicone or latex. They have only one phase that admit a small catheter, but when the catheter is removed, it can automatically seal. Next is coils, made up of a steel, platinum, permanent tungsten alloy for permanent vascular blockage. It can available in many sizes, varies upon the size of the aneurysms. Turn on to next topic, stent. Stents are metal mesh tube device placed in a vessels enlarge the lumen to provide a scaffolding. To hold the vessels open to increase the blood flow or in areas blocked by plaques and stenosis. Stent graft. Stent graft or stent with graft material which functions as a vascular conduit. It is made up of a nitinol and stainless steel. The commonly used graft material are Dacron. The uses of stent graft. It can be used in conditions like aortic aneurysms, ruptured aneurysm. It's to retain the persistent flow through the vessels. It is to prevent the enlargement of the aneurysm wall. Coming to the end, let me conclude by saying interventional radiology is one of the specialized forms of a minimally invasive technique in certain pathologies to achieve the best and optimal results, which plays a vital role in both diagnostic and therapeutics. A sincere thanks to all my faculties and staffs. A special thanks to Mrs. R. Aguila, MIT Coordinator, Mr. N. Surendran, Radiation Safety Officer.
Ashwati P. She's a student from Isrt Medical Academy in Interventional University. She is going to present the topic of 4-vessel angiogram.
Ashwati P, student of Isrt Medical Academy. I am studying first year MSc MIT. So, what is a cerebral angiography? Cerebral angiography or 4-vessel angiography is the study of 4 arteries, that is 4 vessels study, carrying blood to the brain by the injection of a contrast media into it. So, going to anatomy, the arch of aorta give rise to the brachiocephalic trunk, left common carotid artery and left subclavian artery. The brachiocephalic artery further branched into right common carotid artery and right subclavian artery. So, the circle of Willis. Right and left internal carotid artery divides into 2 main branches, that is anterior cerebral artery and medial cerebral artery. So, next we are going for the indications. The main indications are aneurysm, AVM, atherosclerosis, stenosis, stroke, hemorrhage, brain tumors, and AV fistulas. Then for contraindications are bleeding tendency to the patients on anticoagulant therapy, history of contrast allergy, impaired renal status, pregnancy and skin infection to the patient. So the equipment required for these procedures are CM unit, ECG monitoring, arterial puncture needle that is of 18 and 21 gauge, guide wires, sheath and dilators, syringe, local anesthesia, normal and heparinized saline, surgical pads and gauge pieces and catheters. The mainly used catheters are head-hunter catheter, Siemens and Benson-Hanafey-Wilson catheters. Then contrast media. Non-ionic contrast agents are safer and less allergic. So we are using non-ionic contrast agent. For diagnostic angiogram, we are using Omnipac of 300 mg iodine per ml. And for neuro-interventional procedure, we are using Omnipac 240 mg iodine per ml. Then DSA, that is digital subtraction angiography. The digital subtraction angiography is nothing but which provide better visualization of contrast filled vessels and pre-contrast image digitally subtracted from post-contrast image, and it shows contrast filled vessels and provide background compression. Then patient preparation. The careful history and clinical examination, informed consent should be taken. Patient should be well hydrated and NPO for 4 hours. So the puncture site should be shaved and clean, and xylocaine sensitivity test should be done. Then approach. There are 4 main approaches. First one is femoral artery approach, brachial artery approach, axillary artery approach, and carotid artery approach. For most common chosen site is femoral artery approach, and second one is brachial artery. Then going to the procedure, the patient lies supine on the angiographic table and safety straps fastened on the patient head to make it immobilized. Then electrode placed on the patient chest to monitor the electrical activity of the heart. Then pulse oximeter is clipped on the patient finger for measuring the O2 level. Then the area is prepared for the puncture in sterile condition, and under local anesthesia, small incision is made at the puncture site, and the artery is punctured using Seldinger technique. So what is a Seldinger technique? The arterial pulse is identified and the puncture site is chosen, surgically prepared, draped, and local anesthetic is given. Then the Sellinger's needle is inserted into the vessel, that is double puncture. Then stillet is removed and flow of blood through the needle is observed to confirm the puncture. Okay, this one. Then the sheath wire, that is a temporary guide wire, is now inserted into the needle. Then the needle is removed. The sheath is advanced along with the dilator over the sheath wire. So next is filling. For carotid arteries, we are taking AP axial, lateral, and AP oblique, and for vertebral arteries, we are taking AP axial and lateral projection. Next, for complications, the complication include puncture site bleeding, allergic reaction to contact, pseudoaneurysm, air embolism, and hematoma. Then after are complete bed rest is given, compression of puncture site for minute of 20, then monitoring of vitals and maintenance of fluid and electrolytic balance. So these all are my reference. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a last presenter of the day, Karthik S. He's a student from SRM Institute for Medical Science, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. He's going to talk about radiation safety aspects in interventional radiology.
Good morning to all. I am Karthik S, studying BSc MIT third year in SRM Institute for Medical Science, Madapalli campus, Chennai. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for giving me the opportunity to talk on this topic, radiation safety aspects in interventional radiology. Let me start with an introduction. Radiation exposure limit were introduced by the International Commission on Radiological Protection (ICRP) in 1928. The ICRP reports form the basis for many national and international radiation protection programs. In India, the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, established in 1983, is the competent authority which control over use of radiations in medicine and radiations and its types. There are two types of radiations. The one is non-ionizing radiation and another one is ionization. Source of radiation: natural radiation and man-made radiation. Natural radiations are radon and xenon, cosmic rays, terrestrial rays, internal exposure. Man-made radiations: medical exposures, consumer product, occupational. Basic principles of radiation classification. No practice involving radiation exposures shall be adopted unless it produces a net positive. Optimization. Every effort shall be taken to reduce the dose as low as reasonably achievable, considering the clinical, social, and factor. Dose limits. The effective doses to the individuals shall not exceed the limits recommended by the Commission. Recommend dose limits. These are the dose limits recommended for this different type of parts. Need for patient protection. Patient is irradiated by the direct beam. Medical personnel is irradiated by the scatter radiation. Patients may undergo repeated radiation procedures. A patient may receive in one procedure a dose equivalent to the dose the staff may receive in one or several. Radiation safety whose responsibility? The government, the regulatory body, the hospital management, the medical staffs are the responsibility for radiation. Radiation safety is split into built-in safety, operation safety. In built-in safety, under it, adequate ceiling, room layout, and safety of equipment will be considered. And in operational safety, radiation safety training, QA, qualified staff, and safe work practice and those optimization. Safety in work practice. TDS principle. Ensure safety using the time, distance, and shielding parameters. Less time, more distance, time. The total dose received by a radiation worker in directly proportional to the total time spent in handling the radiation. Last frame hold technique. In this technique, the last image is digitally frozen on the monitor after exposure is terminated. Last image hold is a dose saving feature since it allows physician to contemplate the last image and plan the next move without additional radiation exposure in a procedure. Pulsed fluoroscopy. The X-ray beam is emitted as a series short pulses rather than continuously. At reduced frame rates, pulsed fluoroscopy can provide substantially dose saving. It is shown that average dose saving of 22%, 30%, 49% at 15, 10 and 7.5 frames per second respectively. Shielding. When maximum distance and minimum time do not ensure an acceptably low radiation level, either radiation source or person should be adequately sealed with suitable materials. The material that attenuate the radiation expansion is called a shielding, and the shield will reduce exposure to the patient, staff and the public. These are the protective aprons. The first one denote lead apron, second one is thyroid shield, third one is goggles, fourth one is gloves, and fifth one is lead barrier. Personal protective equipment. Additional protective devices should be available in fluoroscopy and interventional room, which include sealing, suspend protective slings, protective lead curtains mounted on the patient table, protective lead curtain for the operator if the X-ray tube is placed in an overcoach geometry and if the radiologist must stand near the patient. Dose reduction. First one is applied kilovoltage, second one is filtration, third one is collimation, fourth one is MAS, and fifth one is image receptor. Factors affecting radiation dose. Factors affecting radiation dose are scatter dose rate is lower opposite to the entrance side of the beam, higher with the larger field size and lower when the distance from the patient is increases. X-ray tube positioning. The best configuration, intensify up and X-ray tube down saves a factor 3 or more in dose then in comparison to X-ray tube up and intensify down. Position of the intervention. If oblique projection stand near the image side, exposure to the scatter radiation from the patient is reduced in this position. How to reduce patient dose? Keep the image as close as possible to the patient. Radiation follows inverse square law. Dose at the patient entrance surface increase when the imager is kept fair. It is okay if the imager touches the patient. For the same reason, keep the X-ray tube away from the patient. Avoid magnification mode. These are some avoiding magnification modes. Move the beam, spread the dose. Use higher kVp wherever possible. Use multiple projection. Move the X-ray tube, spread the dose. Keep fluoroscopic time to minimum. Personal dosimeter. Main dosimeter under the apron. Second dosimeter above the apron level of the neck. Third dosimeter near the eye or on the different types of personal dosimeter. TLD, electronic posimeter, direct ion posimeter, and the radiation safety checklist. Appropriate protocols chosen. Lead apron and goggles. Wearing TLD under the lead apron. Sealing suspended, sealed and barrier lead curtains. Use of low dose pulsed fluoroscopy with lowest possible frames rate. Only authorized person in the room. Watch foot on pedal. Pedal only while looking at the screen. Use LAH. Biological effect. Biological effect of radiation. Deterministic effect and stochastic effect. The effect is not observed when there is a threshold dose below. Example: radiation determination, appellation, interferity, etc. Then stochastic effect. There is no safe dose for stochastic effect. Example: cancer, genetic, and effect. Radiation's interaction with tissue. X-rays, moving electrons, ionization, free radicals, molecular damage which repairs cellular damage, cellular death, and cellular transformation. Deterministic effect in diagnostic radiology is probable. These are some table which include this diagnostic radiology. report. Due to higher procedures, these are great for injuries, right genital region progress to a non-healing ulcer occurring skin graft. These are arm injury progress. These are right arm is exposed during the summary. Skin injuries, good work practices, knowledge about equipment, personal monitoring device, radiation safety.
Yeah, thank you for all the presentation. Now I request with the judges to go ahead with the question and answer session. Judges, please note the Aisha Anwar is not able to join the link.
Question and answer session.
Yes, sir. So the previous topic that Saina Soni is available, we can go ahead with the question and answer session with the Saina Soni. Saina, can you switch on your camera?
Yes. Namaste, Saina. I'm Anto here. You have spoken about the computed radiography.
Yes, computer radiography.
Okay. What is the expensive part in the computed radiography which you are talking about?
I think it's about installation of the machine, or we want to.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Tell me, what are the other expensive parts? You are talking about cassette, screen, and other things. What is the expensive part, and in that you are mentioning, or you feel that it is very expensive and how to be handled?
I think the X-ray machine we were using, or in digital radiography, we want to refurbish the room.
Okay. You have mentioned the ADC. What is that?
Analog to digital converter.
Okay. I've done, sir. Sir, you can take over it, sir. Consult, sir.
Okay. Saina, this topic CR, how it differs from the digital radiography? Is there any correlation between the digital or CR?
Both are digital radiography, but in the case of digital radiography, it's a cassetteless system. Here in computer radiography, we are using cassettes and readers also. But in digital radiography, it's a one-step process. We don't need a cassette or a reader. In that, we are using flat panel detectors, and directly the images are getting to the we can see the images in the monitor. Directly.
Yes, I supplementing Mr. Anto's question. He asked now what's the costly part of this CR. No, he gave the hint also, cassette and all these things. No, in the cassette, what are the components you are told? What are the components of the cassette, CR cassettes?
CR cassette contain Psp screen.
CSC screen. Do you know the cost of the CSC screen?
Psp
approximate
screens.
Cost? It is costly component, no? No, my question is, how many times you can use it, reuse it, the screen, the cassette, this?
Approximately 10,000 exposures can be made.
Approximately, not sure.
No.
10,000 very less number, no?
Yeah, we can reuse it as the remnant images are erased using bright white light. So the CR cassettes can be reused.
So we can do more than 10,000, no? Not 10,000, even up to 40, 50,000 we can do the exposures. That depends on their maintenance, no? So that's all from my side. Mr. Bhagat, please.
Yes. Hi, Sani, how are you?
Hi, sir, I'm fine.
Okay. So I would like to ask only one question. What is the major advantage of the CR system over the conventional screen film radiography system?
In conventional screen film radiography system, we are using chemical processing, and we can.
I'm not asking that. Just what is the advantage of CR only? That's my interest.
CR is a two-step process.
Major advantage of the CR system over the conventional system?
I think the cassettes can be reused, or in conventional system, the cassette contain film screen, or we can't uh, we can take copies of that images. Only in computer radiography or in digital radiography, we can take hard copies, or we can visualize it in a PAD system, or we can send it to other computer systems for viewing in front of a doctor, or we can show it to a radiologist, or and we will get a wider density range. The exposure we can visualize
Latitude.
in lower exposure,
Latitude.
or
Long latitude, no?
yeah,
So it can
okay,
accommodate
yes,
overexposure, underexposure
wider
also.
in this latitude. Yeah, we can visualize the image clearly. We can adjust the latitude, or
The patient repeat exposure is very less.
yes,
Almost
patient
rare.
exposure can be made less. Can you please ask again?
But what is the? I asked what's the most important one. The post processing is possible, while in the conventional it's not possible. Once the picture is appeared, you can't increase or decrease the density or contrast. But in this, and
in computer radiography,
yes,
we can
in one film you can put whole IVU or any procedure like that. You make the sections. Moreover,
yes,
instant you can send anywhere. Storage is easy. So many advantages are there. And what will happen if you will expose the CR plate and not put in the reader for a few days? Then what will happen?
CR. Can you ask it?
CR plate is exposed but not processed.
Yeah, as the temperature increases, the electrons will be ejected from the trap. So we will not get a good image. I
Image
mean,
will be filled out.
temperature is a factor. Economic, sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, environmental factors is there. As the temperature increases, the electron will be ejected from the trap, so the latent image will be lost. So the image will not be so clear, but we have to process it for next exposure, as there will be some remnant latent image in that. So we
So
should
that will be
read.
that will washed out when we are inside the equipment. There is a laser light.
Yeah.
And
Red
one is
laser
a
light.
very bright floodlight.
Yes, sir.
The laser is reading the image, and the floodlight is removing all the residual electrons there. So they will not cast the ghost shadow. Understand? The major advantage is the post processing. That's the possible. Economical. Good. Very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bansal sir. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Mohanji
Thank
sir. Saina, actually, any presentation, because now you all are doing well, go through it and go through what is very important. Maybe 10 minutes only, no? So, very good try and do well.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, sir. You can go ahead with the other topic on the
Pranay.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Pranay. Thanks for your topic on preparations, contraindications, risk and medication in interventional radiology. So, why you wanted to check BT and CT for interventional?
Sir, BT is the bleeding time and clotting time. It is important. If the bleeding time is more, then this procedure is not happened with that patient.
Okay, clotting
If
time?
bleeding type will not check, then it will. Clotting time is the time to form the blood clot. If we not check the patient the clotting time, then it may be hazard to that patient, or it may be from any severe disease to that and severe complication to that patient.
Okay, and what is the normal urine creatinine level? That means urine creatinine level should be there, normal level.
0.
No, you have
urea
mentioned
creatinine
that's what.
0.74 to 1. 1.4 mg
No,
per
the
day.
other thing is, if this level is even high up to 3, they use other contrast nowadays. And in case if the patient is going for dialysis also, even at a higher creatinine, they proceed with the study with the proper consent. Anyway, thank you. And sir, over to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Pranay, you had told about the preparation, contraindication, risk, and medication in the interventional radiology. But I'm not knowing what is interventional
Yes, sir.
radiology. Can you tell me what's the meaning of interventional radiology?
Sir,
I'm not clear about it.
interventional radiology means it is a minimally invasive procedure to diagnose or treat a medical condition. It is minimally invasive means here small cutting, small insertion of instrument occurs during the procedure.
This is a
It
procedure
is
only.
used to diagnose. It is used to diagnose or treat a condition.
That's why we call it intervention. We
Yes, sir.
intervene with the help of catheter, guide wires.
Yes, sir.
We diagnose and treat the patient. So what are
Yes,
the
sir.
common, you can say, intervention procedure which are done? Very common procedures,
Yes,
intervention procedures.
Sir, coronary angiography.
Angiography is a procedure, no? It is not intervention.
Yes, sir.
I
Seldinger
ask
technique.
intervention procedure, no? Intervention.
Yes, sir. Seldinger technique.
That is technique. What are the common intervention procedures? Intervention you're talking about, no? Not diagnostic.
Sorry, sir. I don't.
Any example? Any disease related to kidney?
Kidney.
No, you're not studied.
Transplantation.
When you say preparation of the
the
patient,
kidney.
for which disease, for which case we do the preparation of the patient, no?
Which case?
The preparation you're saying, no? For which case you're preparing the patient, no? You're saying intervention preparation, intervention procedure preparations.
In kidney related disorder, renal, liver related disorder, or any
Name any
infection.
name the procedure, no? It's a wide term,
Sir,
no? Kidney related procedure.
renal failure.
Anyhow, you have to study, but you tried, but you must know the basics, no? Before coming
Yes,
for
sir.
all these things. So don't get discouraged, but come prepared. Okay, pass
Yes,
on to
sir.
Mr. Bhagwat, please.
Yeah, Mr. Parne, congratulations for
Yes,
your
sir.
presentation. I would like
Thank
to
you,
ask a
sir.
very simple question. What is the role of interventional radio technologist before you receive the patient for the procedure? Before the patient comes, what's your role?
Before the patient.
Before
First,
you are receiving the patient in
patient
the
is
room.
changed into a.
No, before the patient comes.
First,
When patient came and you have given appointment for tomorrow, and you know the patient will come for tomorrow. So what's the role of technology there?
first consent form is taken, then instruct the patient about the procedure, then instruct the patient
The
to
consent
check
is already
the.
taken. Consent, when the patient came for booking, consent is taken, and the procedure is explained to him.
Yes. Urea creatinine level should be checked. That
No,
is
my
asked to the
dear,
patient.
I'm asking for the before the patient comes, how you will prepare your room. What type of drugs are needed there? What are the life-saving drugs are needed there? What type of contrast meter is needed there? Whether your equipment is working or not working? Whether part those need to be moved, that should be movable. Part those not need to move, that should be fixed. So many things are there. You have to
Yes,
check
sir.
it. Suppose something happened. Suppose
Yes,
contrast
sir.
media exchange happened, and the doctor asked to
Yes,
bring particular type of drug to inject to save the life of the patient, and you say, sir, I don't know, I have not kept it there. It was finished 2 days before, or maybe the date is expired. So you have
Yes,
a
sir.
great role to
Analgesic
play
drugs,
before the patient come.
anti-inflammatory drugs. Yes, sir.
How many types of drugs we are keeping generally there?
Emergency drugs, analgesic drugs. Sir, analgesic drug, anti-inflammatory drugs, and
Apart from the rest
anticoagulant.
part, we are keeping 3 types of drug. One is the preparatory drugs, contrast media, and drugs to deal with the adverse effects of the contrast media. So that's your
Yes, sir.
responsibility. Because radiotechnician
Yes,
is not
sir.
the one who will decide what type of drugs is needed, what kind of, how much dose is needed, how much intervals are needed between the 2 dose. No, we are not the one, but we have to help
Yes.
to the physician or clinician.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before
Good.
we present, we put the medicine.
Good.
Thank you, Pranay, and all is of learning only, because good try, and keep doing well. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pranay.
Thank you.
And who's next? Manjula? Manjula. Namaste, Manjula.
Sir, can you hear?
Manjula, can you hear
Sir,
me?
I'm audible. Yes, sir, I'm
Yeah,
audible.
you are audible, Manjula. Manjula, from your topic, actually, we want to know what is diagnostic and what is therapeutic. You have mentioned, no?
Diagnostic, what problem is this diagnostic, sir?
Very good.
Any blockage?
Okay. What is therapeutic?
A therapeutic procedure that like stenting, a stent graft is a therapeutic.
No, that's what. See, diagnostic you explained very well, finding the problem. And therapy is nothing but it is treating the problem.
Treating the problem.
So it is like how we do in HSG, no? It is a procedure to find the problem, and also during the procedure sometimes block will be released. That is therapy. And you mentioned about this. How about the reusable things in your thing? How many times you reuse the catheters and all?
It cannot be reusable, sir. Cannot be reusable.
All the things are single use.
Yes, sir.
No, are you confident, or I'm asking whether you are seen or have you worked on it? What is sterilization happening on high value consumables? Suppose in case of any patients with any infections, do you reuse it or single use?
Cannot be reusable, sir.
Okay, be confident in something, whatever you are saying. No, there are certain things which can be sterilized, but any blood products or blood stained, I think they cannot take a chance of that. And what is the difference between biplane? You are talking about biplane cath lab. Whenever you
Biplane is FD flat panel detector, sir.
No, that is a detector, because no single plane is there. Nothing at one
Biplane
shot.
is a
It can give images on both planes, maybe anteroposterior, lateral. You can rotate the machine around the anatomy being imaged. Thank you, Manjula. Sir, over to you, sir.
Manjula, you had told you good presentation, but the term which you use, the materials used in the cath lab, no? So I'm not clear about the cath lab. Where it is used, in the radiology department or the cardiology department? Cath lab term.
Radiology department.
No, we use the interventional lab, no?
Interventional radiology.
Interventional radiology or interventional lab. But cath lab is obsolete term, no?
Yes,
you have to correct it, no? Because it is a very vague term, cath lab, no? It is meant for specific cardiac catheterization, cardiac studies. Anyhow, now when you say materials used in the cath lab or the interventional lab, what are the X-ray equipment? It is not part of the material. What are the different types of X-ray modalities being used in the interventional lab?
Modalities, sir?
What are different imaging modalities used in the interventional lab? No?
Neurointerventions and non-neurointervention, biplane. Biplane F20.
This is not the name, no, biplane, single plane. I'm asking what the name of the modality.
Modalities. Philips Allura. Name.
Like we say, we use fluoroscopy
We use
unit. That's single plane or
Philips
biplane.
Allura. Biplane FT20.
Ultrasound unit we use. CT we may use. MRI we may use for interventional. So you not explain, no? When you're talking about the material, this is also material, no? This component of the interventional lab. So just be careful while we select the topic, no? What are the components? You have to be very careful in expressing all this thing. No? Anyhow, doesn't matter, but keep it up. Pass on to Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, please.
Namaste. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. I'm.
Okay.
You're audible, sir.
Yeah. What do you mean by selective catheterization?
Self-finger? Sir?
Selective catheterization.
Selective catheterization use of pigtail catheters and straight catheters.
No, what do you meant by word selective catheterization?
Selective catheterization. It can be used in selectively used in one part.
Okay, go ahead.
So, used in selective parts like part like that coronary angiogram.
No. Selective catheterization is in which we select the catheter according to the angle of the vessel arising from its origin. That angle must meet, so it should go properly and it should not harm the inner wall of the vessel. That is called selective catheterization. Understand?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Can you give any 5 names of the catheters we are using, mostly commonly using?
Commonly used Cobra catheter, 8-anter catheter,
yeah.
State catheters, Simmons catheters, sorry.
Good. Okay. Well done.
Okay, Manjula. Good job. Keep studying and also participate in all the other future conferences also, okay?
Yes, sir.
Ashwati?
We will be happy to see all of you again.
Ashwati?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay. Very nicely presented. And Ashwati, what is the difference between 18 gauge and 21 gauge?
Needle size is different, sir.
That's what you have mentioned. Why you have mentioned 2? Which one you will use for adult, or if the patient have very thin veins, which one you will use?
Thin vein means we'll use 20 gauge.
Then 21?
21.
No, it is from your presentation only. Not a problem. See, we wanted you all to go through your presentation before you present, and so that it will be a little more. And what is the, you mentioned about consent form to be taken. How many days it is valid? Suppose you started a consent procedure, you have taken consent form, but the study got cancelled. So same consent forms, within how many days you will be using it?
Only for that day, sir, consent. If it is patient is not means unstable, means we will for next time we will use next consent.
Okay. No, normally there is a validation period also. Up to 30 days you can use, but that's not a problem. But always try to follow that. In case if it is more than 30 days, you have to take a fresh consent. And you have mentioned about the xylocaine sensitivity test and contrast sensitivity test and all. But as of now, they are not doing it. But please follow the doctor's orders in that. Okay. Thank you, Ashwati. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. As
Hello,
to the,
Sandy.
you said 4-vessel angio, no?
Yes.
In the 4-vessel angio, in your presentation, you told about the contraindication,
Yes, sir.
renal impaired function, no? Can you explain what the meaning of this contraindication?
Renal
Renal
function.
impaired function. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Basically, we are injecting contrast, sir, for kidney is the main organ that will excrete this. So, if any kidney problem is there, means the contrast that we are injected is not released. So, it will be a problem to that patient.
Then how we decided to this impaired or not impaired? But any criteria is there, no? Some values are there, range is there. Simply saying that impaired renal function.
Urea creatinine test, sir.
What's the level of values? No? What's the normal values? What's the range?
0.2
Earlier in the
to
previous
0.4.
slide, in the
Level.
previous topic, it was already questioned, no? About the.
Yeah, 0.2 to 1.4.
No. What's the range? Is it creatinine or urea?
Creatinine, sir.
Creatinine. It's more than 1.2 or up to 2.
No, sir, we can't do. Up to
You can't do.
1.4 max.
You will stop it. Then patient may die now. You have to very rational in giving the decision.
We will ask with the urologist, sir, whether we can do the procedure or not. If
There's no need of asking this renal impaired function. Simply ask him. If he tells, do the procedure, do this. Otherwise, no need of asking this thing. So you will not do it. You won't depend on the reports, no. Only by opinion, you will say, no. We have to see, document it. What's the values? What's the range? It is septal range or not septal range. Even if it's a higher range, we can change the contrast, we can increase the quantity. So these are the different types of further procedures you can do. No, you can't stop the procedure with one instance that this renal impaired function is there. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, pass on to Mr. Bhagwat, please.
Hi, Avasti. How are you? Avasti, I am audible to you?
Yes, sir. Audible.
How are you?
Fine.
In your presentation, you have explained about the DSA.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. That stands for the Digital Subtraction Geography.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the major advantage of the electrical injector, electromagnetic device that we call automatic injector?
Yeah, pressure injector, sir.
Yeah. That's not only pressure injector. It has many roles to play. So we call this automatic injector.
Automatic.
So what are the advantage?
Flow rate, sir.
Okay.
We can adjust the flow rate in.
Yes. Predetermined value can be selected. Yes.
Then
rate, volume, pressure, all can be selected.
Yeah. Then pain also is less comparing with
the injector has any role in the radiation protection?
Time, sir. It will reduce the time.
I mean, provide any radiation, play any role in the radiation protection for the staff?
Staff, yeah, sir. This we can before only we can adjust this flow rate and all. So the radiologists can come to the console. Then we can adjust from the console. So it will reduce the radiation to the
remote operating is possible with the automatic. So no need to stand inside. When we are injecting manually, we are receiving the exposure.
Yeah.
So remote control is possible. So you come out and then control from the remote area. So it also playing role in the additional protection for the staff and others. Good. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Ashwati,
Sir.
Ashwati, that contrast what sirs and all we're talking, even we're talking is, see, up to 1.6 or 1.7 creatinine, you can use routine contrast. If the creatinine is high, there is a recommended VCPEC also where it can be used up to 3. And if even if it is exceeding 3, if the patient is going for next day dialysis, nothing to worry about this unless, but based on the clinical thing, the clinician will take a call on that. Only thing, the consent has to be documented and the referring doctor has to be informed about the changes. Good job. And see, you all are very good lecturers in college. Make use of it and focus on the studies, whatever you are doing. Good job.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Karthik, am I audible? You have to be a little louder, Karthik. I am not able to hear you. Karthik, you are on your mobile or on your laptop? No, I am not. Anyway, am I clear to you? No, because your voice, I am not able. Sir, can you hear him, Karthik?
No, we can't hear him, no.
That's
The
what
problem is
Karthik,
the
two
mic.
things are there. Either you speak on the phone, remove that headset.
Your sound quality is poor. Otherwise,
Yeah. No sound, at least.
Now,
No speak.
Yeah, now it's good.
Okay, Karthik.
But I can't hear your voice.
Okay, fine. Karthik, you are talking about lead protective devices in cath lab lead apron. What about skirt and vest?
He is unable to hear without the head device. He is unable to hear without earphones.
First you hear with the head device, then remove it, then let's speak it, no?
Okay.
Without head device.
What about skirt and vest in cath lab? No, you have shown lead apron in cath lab. Actually, cath lab, there is a different lead apron devices for the doctors. It is a skirt and vest. Have you seen it or you are not using it?
Yes, sir, I have seen that.
Okay. And have you heard about TLD badge, wrist badge?
Sir, I can't hear.
I am clear, I think, because anyway, you just see whether you can hear others. Okay, you said to the patient, X-ray machine or X-ray intensifier should be closed during cath lab procedure. Which is the right way?
Sir, I can't hear your voice clearly, sir.
I think sound is very clear. You try to understand.
Sir? Okay.
Sir Anto's voice is quite clear and you try to understand it.
Check your mic and all this are your own earplugs, no?
Okay, anybody, you can ask a question. I'll think whether if, it's not a problem, I think.
Or questions can be put it in chat box in case.
That also we can do. But
Anto sir, you put your question in the chat box. I think it's a good idea.
And that question only can be seen by him.
It will take a lot of time, no?
Karthik, sir, you ask the question. I think whether your voice, let him hear, not a problem. Bansalji, you can talk to him.
Karthik, can you listen me? Is it audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now speak loudly, okay? Though you're told about this radiation safety aspects in interventional radiology, how it differs from the basic radiology or general radiology. Radiation safety in interventional radiology and general radiology, how it differs. No? You can't listen, you know. Your sound is not audible.
Can I log in?
But when you are presenting, your sound also quite good.
In between sound spheres, no? No, this sphere.
Can I audible?
Just speak loudly.
Sir, I can't hear what you say. I can't understand your questions.
No, we can't listen, you know. We can't see, listen, hear, you know.
Sir, actually, I can't see properly. I can't hear you properly.
Anyhow, Mr. Bhagwat, you can try.
Okay. Mr. Karthik.
Sir, Bhagwat
Keep
sir,
your
you can
mic
ask.
near your mouth and try to speak loudly. Keep your mic near your mouth and try to speak loudly. Okay. Now you are audible to me. And you are replying, it means my sound is reaching to you.
Sir,
Okay. Your presentation was for radiation protection in interventional radiology.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Being a radiotechnologist, what you should do while conducting interventional procedure to keep the dose minimum for you and your team.
I think some audio problem. I think better we can leave it because.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes,
I just
go.
to audible to interventional, sir. After that, I can't audible, sir. Everything.
Hey, can you see chat box? Karthik, can you see chat box?
Which one?
Chat box.
Questions are there. Questions are there.
Questions are there.
What is your role while conducting procedures?
Yeah, answer.
Sir, can I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, can I audible?
Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Sir, what is the role? We should check accessories. Sir, we should check out accessories and we should follow the. Sir, we should first check accessories. Sir, can I audible?
No, now there is no excuse. Question is already there in the chat box. And you are audible to us.
Yes, Karthik, you are very audible. Just give it. We are hearing you. No problem. Continue.
Yeah, answer a question which is given in the chat box.
Sir, we should follow. We should follow. We should wear leg curtain and we should have leg seating, sir. But we want to maintain TDS, sir. TDS. Sir, I can't hear anything from you, sir.
We are hearing you. Please continue.
So how radiation safety sir, in general radiology, only radiological part will be like the 3 or C or, but interventional radiology, we will go with the cath lab, which also includes the cardiac, which is not related to radiology.
But you explain. You are saying that is different. Explain it. How it is different.
I think stop it.
We are using the
Yeah.
same kind of energy.
I
Both are
think we
using
can.
energy radiation.
Stop it.
How it is
We can
different?
stop, sir.
Stop it, please, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, we can stop it. I think with this, I think we can end the to the presentation and as well as the question and answer session.
But I think Aisha Anwar is not.
Yeah, Aisha Anwar is not able to join, so you can give a grace mark on on absent.
Okay.
I think with this we will end today's session. Especially thanks to panel of judges. Special thanks to Dr. S.C. Bansal sir.
Thank you, sir.
For despite of the busy schedule, he agreed to be part of judges panel, and it was a very good interaction
It's our pleasure,
among the
sir.
judges and the
Thank you.
students. If I request, you can say a few words. I request all the judges to say a few words.
Okay.
Let's start from Mr. Anto.
Okay. Namaste, everybody. Thank you, the guest of today's day, and also thank you, ISRT, for arranging a wonderful session for the budding technologists and also the technologists who are already working on board. And at this stage, I wanted to say that actually the new designation for all of us, radiology imaging officers, that is work is in progress. I have to thank all the senior faculties and also experts in this field for working together to get that council things. Yet still more milestone we have to achieve, and it is a wonderful effort by ISRT and also by Shashi and Mahesh and Pannisalum sir of conducting this event successfully. And we were on behalf of 2050 Healthcare Pan India team. I like to thank all of you and also wish you all a wonderful radiography day. And it was a wonderful event, and also the sessions were very knowledgeable. We also learned from them. I think we have to keep grooming them. There are some people who are reading through the slides. I think if we have a one-on-one interaction, I think we'll be able to groom them better. And thank you, Bansal sir and Mohan sir, and also all the ISRT leadership team for this wonderful event. Post-pandemic, after 2 years, I think we are able to get connected, and also few online and offline sessions were in progress. So once again, thank you all, and wishing you all the best. Hopefully, we all will soon meet together and take our profession to the higher heights. Thank you all.
Thank you. So at the outset, I express my deep gratitude to the ISRT, Mr. Selva, Mr. Suresh, and other dignitaries, Mr. Shashi, Mr. Mahesh, for putting Mr. Anto, Mr. Bhagwat, my co-judges, and especially the students, participants, who has been provided a wide platform, a big platform nationally, even if you can say international platform, to make them appear in front of the large gathering to express their opinion, to come out with their knowledge, skills, presentation skills. It doesn't matter how they present, it's the confidence which they evolve while coming to the platform, which is more important. So I compliment all the participants and say best of luck to the shortlisted candidates for their best result. With this, I thank each and everyone for giving the opportunity to be here among us you.
I am glad and thankful to the Isrt team for providing me this opportunity to use this reputed platform where we interact with our colleagues, seniors, and students. I would like to appreciate the painstaking job of Mr. Mahesh and Shashi, because though in age we are senior, my age is, I think, double than, I think if you will sum the age of Shashi and Mahesh, my age is more. But only yesterday I know how to prepare a PPT. I was teacher of board and one chalk, or you can say marker pen. But in IT, I am very poor. But yesterday, I learned how to prepare a city and how professionally they manage the whole program. The whole program was run flawless. So, thank you very much, Shashi. Thank you very much, Mahesh. And to our whole office bearer of ISRT, those are providing such type of opportunity to our students, because our students are facing a challenging job, not like developed country. They are going to work in a rural area as well as in the multi-specialty hospital. So they must acquire the knowledge in such a scenario that they should be fit to the demand of industry. And the students, those have presented the papers here today, please do not go from where they take the matter, who instruct them, how, that's not our matter. We must appreciate their braveness that they came forward to present the paper. And I am very hopeful that one day, with the help of the society platform, they will make a wonder one day. It's not so that Americans or British are much ahead to us. No, not at all. So, sir, my own experience, my wife was admitted in the Chicago, and the city, for the city investigation, and the technologist was, they are not able to inject medicine in the vein. She took 5 or 6 pricks. But in India, even you go to rural area, even my nurse or my X-ray technician, rarely they will go for the second prick. So that is our hand-on practice. Maybe the good books are not accessible. Our libraries are not so rich like their libraries. Because I went to the Wisconsin University, their library is so rich in the books. All types of books are there. Maybe we don't have that. But hand-on practices, we are superior. And it is the duty of the ISRT to make them superior in the theoretical part also. And we teachers should take the responsibility for this. I congratulate to all team of ISRT, especially to Mahesh and Shashi. Those have done this wonderful job, and all our participants and our students. Thank you. Again, thank you very much. And again, happy World Radiography Day.
Thank you, Mohan sir and Bansal sir. And finally, I also wanted to once again talk about this ultrasound. We have a very good curriculum in our course in BSc and MSc, but students, because of PCP Entity Act, they are not allowed to do. I think they have a lot of scope when they go out of India where they have to work. I think even the PCP entity says that they should not do ultrasound, but they can assist the doctor and learn ultrasound and know the other things. So I think we have to insist them in stimulators to learn, not on missions. So I think once again, I request all the senior members, faculties to strengthen their skills in reporting also, because most of the radiographers do pre-read and post-read in order to ensure the quality and accuracy of the teleradiology reporting. So there are a lot of scope of radiographers in India, including artificial intelligence, where it is taking to different heights. So once again, thank you for ISRT and all the team members. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Dear students, kindly note the result of the today's event as well as the quiz program will be announced tomorrow in email circulation.
So, Ms. Shetty, we have to send the result to you only?
Yes, sir.
By WhatsApp, you can send it, no?
Yeah, it can be sent.
Cheek.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Can I take the photo of this result and send to you?
Send a photo, sir.
Okay.
So immediately I'm going to send to you, no?
Yes.
Thank you all.
I will announce it tomorrow. I will announce in a group.
Okay, sir.
WhatsApp group, and as well as we have a Telegram group. I will announce the result.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mahesh.
Thank you.
Thank you very
sir.
much.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Yes. Good night.
Good night.